good?
Thank you. We're good to go. We are live. I wish. I wish we could do that. Pete Davidson coming in here. Well, I will call to order this July 27th, 2021 meeting of the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. Would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Joe, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And all please remain standing for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here. We have quorum. I was kind of hoping you would trip up on the flag. I'm not going to lie.
Aww.
You did good. You did good. I will note we're being live streamed. That is being broadcast out to our YouTube channel for public consumption. Anyone wishing to make public comment can do so by emailing me at mboyd@lawrencecountypa.gov. That's mboyd@lawrencecountypa.gov. We're also being recorded internally for our purposes and compiling the minutes of that. And if anybody has any business before the board today, we'd ask that you come up and speak clearly into that microphone so we can pick it up for those purposes. Row officer reports and comments. I'm looking at the audience today. I'm not seeing any row officers, representative of row officers. Public comment. Anybody wishing to make public comment today? It's a good day.
Great.
Fiscal and contractual. We have no advertising for bids or proposals. We have no receipt of bids or proposals. I'll save the fiscal stuff to the transfers at the end. Report on quotes, nothing there. We do have warrant registers dated July 20th and July 23rd, 2021. I'll give my colleagues a minute to review those. I'll take a motion to accept and file the warrant register.
And I will move for both of them to be accepted.
Can we file them as well?
File them as well. Just accept them.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Up next, we have approval of the Tuesday, July 20th, 2021 meeting minutes. Again, I'll give my colleagues I'm going to check those over and I'll take a motion to approve the minutes or make any necessary and expedient changes.
So moved.
Second. The motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We do have one receipt of written communications from Frank B. Taylor Engineering related to the Cottage Grove Road Bridge Replacement Project in Wilmington Township. Wilmington Township is replacing the Cottage Grove Road Bridge. This permit was sent to the county as part of a legal requirement that whenever someone seeks to obtain a general permit, BWEW-GP-11, they are required to notify the county as per Act 14. I will note we have no approval authority or denial authority for this application. We're just required to be notified. I'll also note that the bridge project itself is being funded, I believe, in half with county Act 13 dollars. We're glad that we're able to help this project, which is on the countywide transportation improvement plan, be completed. But I'll take a motion to accept and file correspondence.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Staff reports. Do we have any member of staff here that has anything to report above and beyond what's already on the agenda? Vanessa, nothing from you?
No, thanks.
All right. We'll do commissioner reports and comments. I have nothing. Dan, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the only thing I want to note today, pass along our sympathy to the family of Clarence Boots, who passed away earlier this week. Mr. Boots was a resident of North Beaver Township, but also a number of years ago served as a member of the Mohawk Area School Board, and very prominent in the Mohawk community. So our thoughts and prayers are with the Boots family. That's all I have, and I thank you.
Thank you. Loretta, you're on deck.
Nothing here.
All right. Moving on to new business. First on deck, we have Commissioners' Resolution for discussion, possible approval of an amended agreement with Arnold Blajak for courthouse exterior repair and painting project. Loretta, I know you've been working very hard on this, so I'll turn it over to you for any additional comments that need to be made or the description of what we have going on here.
Just very briefly, sitting and revisiting what repair work needed to be finished as far as his contract. The contract started several years ago due to COVID. It extended past its deadline, and we clarified work needing to be done, making sure it was done, and where Mr. Blajak was in those the repair work, and just ironed out all of those different details, and we're here with a renewal for him to continue the work that he's doing. That's it, and we can get the courthouse project finished up.
Great.
Yes.
And thank you for your work on that. I know it's been stalled for a little over a year now.
Yeah.
And I know it'll be good to complete that. I'll call it a legacy project, just because it was initiated before this board was sworn in. But it'll be good to get one more thing off the list.
Correct. Yes, and it's not a new contract or new award. It's a change order because we had to adjust timelines and varying different bits of the project. There were 3 different phases that there were, making sure that each one was completed or what area needed to be finished up with each one. So it is a change order and not a new bid or a new contract.
Dan, any questions, comments?
No, I concur. I thank you for, you focused on this. Thank you. And I know you've worked with, very recently as well with our solicitor. He's reviewed everything.
Yes,
He's told you that it's in order, so I'm ready to move forward.
That's always the easiest thing. You take it to the solicitor and say, is everything good here? And then whatever changes, we go from there. So we're ready to get moving. Yes.
We'll make that resolution 2021-173.
173.
Up next, we have Vanessa Lovely with LCSS here with us today for a routine resolution here regarding our MATP program in the Axe buses. Vanessa, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. Good, always good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So what do we have going on here today?
So LCSS is asking for our contract to administer the MATP on the county's behalf to continue into the new fiscal year, July 1st through June 30th. As you know, it's a fee-for-service contract with DHS, and the amount per trip this year would be $21.65. And that's regardless of if LCSS provides that trip on the transit authority, on a private taxi, on the Axe bus, or mileage reimbursement. So some of the trips, we pay more than we receive, and others it's the opposite. So it sort of averages out.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, this is DHS money that comes to the county for people who have medical assistance and need transportation to those appointments. So, we ask for your permission to continue to do that program on your behalf.
Well, first of all, you guys provide a phenomenal service through the Axe program. I've never heard in the year and a half that I've been here, I've never heard a single complaint from anyone about those buses. So good job, and assuming this passes, and I think it will, keep up the good work. Do you know what I got an email the other day, I think we all did, about the total amount of MATP money that flows just to Lawrence County. Do you know what that is for this year?
This year,
What?
it should be $1,377,435 is the annual allocation. And the way DHS pays that is a quarterly advance payment. And then around the third quarter, they look at actual services provided in the first, and they might make an adjustment down in that third and fourth. But it's a good amount of money given to provide the service.
Absolutely.
Any questions, comments? We'll go to Loretta first.
Other than to reiterate and say thank you for the job that you all do, getting people where they need to be. Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you.
We'll make this resolution 2021-174. And I don't foresee any issues with this passing, so if you've got other things you need to attend to and want to take off and don't want to, sit through the rest of it, I'm sure it will be a fascinating government meeting. You're welcome to do so.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Always
Good
good to see
seeing
you.
you.
Good seeing you
Yes,
as well.
yes.
All right, up next, we have about 80 different MHDS resolutions with our wonderful director. He's doing a good job.
Fantastic job.
Scott Baldwin. So look at all those folders. All right, what do we have going on today? You've got 5 minutes, the clock starts now.
Well, most of these are the early intervention contracts, but we'll get to the however you want to present them. First up is a renewal contract. This will be with Lawrence County Association of Responsible Care. The contract runs between July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. The contract is not to exceed $141,470 and is paid through Human Services Block Grant funding. LCRC is another longtime provider that we've had for years. They provide your behavior and your occupational supports for individuals with ID and mental health.
Questions, comments? And I will note, just because I don't want to have to stop every single time that we get one of these. These will be in the order you see them on the agenda. Resolutions 2021-175 through 2021-189.
Okay.
Next.
Next resolution is with Patches Place. This is a renewal contract between MHDS. The contract will run from July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. Contract is not to exceed $399,594.80 paid by a block grant company. Patches Place is again, we've been a provider for us for many years. They provide a drop-in center, which is just a safe place for mental health individuals to go and provide activities and services. They get lunch and they go out on community events. They also do our RET payee program where they manage their funds to make sure that they living the highest quality of life that they can. And they also provide our consumer satisfaction team, which are surveys done to make sure that our providers are doing what they're supposed to do with our clients. And we get all that feedback and we review it.
Questions, comments?
No.
Next.
Okay, the next one will be with Vocational and Psychological Services. This is a renewal contract. Contract runs from July 1st, 2021, June 30th, 2022. Contract is not to exceed $102,500 and is paid by Human Services Block Grant funding. Vocational Psychological does IQ testing, adaptive functioning, respite care. We're also expanding our Project Search, which is a occupational service that we partnered this year with Giant Eagle. This is for adults that have an ID diagnosis. Giant Eagle will be bringing in individuals and teaching them job skills. And the great thing about this is Giant Eagle does it for nothing. We provide staff that do job coaching, but they will learn all these different departments in Giant Eagle. They learn skills, they teach them, and then they give them gainful employment when done. It works out that way. But
Nice.
we do this project now with UPMC Jameson, and it's been hugely successful for children in high school. We're expanding it this year to adults. So we're real excited about that. Denise was going to come with me, but she's on vacation to explain a little bit better than I do. But again, Vocational Psychological does a lot of the support for that. So we're pretty happy about that.
Great. Questions, comments?
I do have a question, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. That's very interesting, what you've said about Giant Eagle. I find that intriguing, and it sounds very promising. Does this only involve the Giant Eagles in Neshannock Township and Shenango Township? The reason I ask that is there is a Giant Eagle south of Elwood City, but it's in Beaver County. Do you know if that Giant Eagle is included, since it is in Beaver County?
I would say probably not, but again,
Okay.
I'm just assuming since Lawrence County consumers traveling outside of county, I don't know what that would look like, but I'm guessing it would probably just be the two.
I think it'll just be the two. Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Scott. Next.
We have Well, you want to do the resolution or you want to do all the early intervention? The resolution to amend our contract with Human Services Center.
Is this related to early intervention?
No.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. So we're going to amend our contract with Human Services Center. We went over budget. Let me see. $158,467. And what the reason why that was the we had a lot of intellectual disability funds not used this year, and that was just because things were closed. So the state allowed us to shift ID dollars to the mental health, where a lot of that need was greater. So that's what we did. The state approved it. We increased a lot of our residential care, which was really at capacity. So that's why we went in that direction. We really through COVID, we took care of a lot of our intellectual disability folks and our providers because they were just like any other small business. They had to survive. So we took care of them, made sure that they were doing well, and then we still had some funds left over, which is the wonderful part of the block grant, and we shifted it over to where we saw them previously.
And that's why we went to block grant.
So consequently, the bottom line was not negatively impacted because of your ability to move those around.
It was a really positive thing. And again, it's just something that we really put out.
Mr. Chairman, something popped into my head, if I may. And it's I'd like to address Mr. Versilla for just a second. Nick, and maybe you know all this already, but the gentleman speaking is Scott Baldwin, who is our director of our Mental Health and Developmental Services Department. And I would hope if you do have any questions for him after, Scott, would you be willing to stick around in case Nick's with the Elwood City Ledger, excuse me for not saying that. Nick's a reporter for the Elwood City Ledger, so if either of you need to speak, maybe.
Great.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. When it comes to this kind of stuff, please don't ask me any questions because I will probably never know the answers.
And then the last is the early intervention contracts that would be under resolution 7 through 17. The early intervention is an entitlement program. These contracts will run from July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. There's no dollar amounts attached because we don't know how many individuals will be served. So the state makes us whole at the end of the year based on the amount of individuals we serve. Last year, the end of this fiscal year, 2021, was about 325,000 was what the state made us go on, but we really don't know what those costs are until we see how many kids we're serving. And that's birth up to 3 years old. Hearing testing, anything that sees a developmental delay in a baby, we test it and make sure we have services to support it. That's what those dollars are for.
Gotcha. Questions, comments on early intervention?
Yeah, just one thing to add with the early intervention. I mean, there's a no reject clause. So basically, those folks are given you, and that's why the state makes you whole. You take whoever comes.
Got to protect those people that are unable to protect themselves. All right, anything additional, Scott? Great job. You went a little bit over your 5-minute allotment, but we'll keep it.
Thank you for your.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But forgive me just a minute. I'm the slow guy at the table, Scott, so maybe you can help me here.
Sure.
Am I to understand that and you said, I know you said it, I need to hear it twice.
Yeah.
Are you telling us that items 7 through 17
Yes.
were all, it was an umbrella, so to
An
speak?
umbrella, yes, sir.
So your last comments were applicable
Yes,
to items 7 through 17.
that's right.
All right, and I know you said it once, but I need to hear it.
That's
twice.
okay.
They're all the exact same contract with different organizations.
I don't mean to
No,
to split hairs or
Yep.
be nitpicky. Could we, perhaps when we go through these for a final vote, could we at least, for example, number 179 is going to be Achieva, if I've kept track correctly.
You want me to do it?
Could we at least just identify?
An agency?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, just so we have it in the record. And I apologize. I know I'm getting a little picky, but
No, you're fine.
Thank you.
do that, Chairman?
I can, yeah, if you want to read them, go for it.
I appreciate that. Thank
No
you.
problem.
So the first one, number 7, would be Achievia. Number 8 would be Adam Brooks. Number 9 would be Lawrence County ARC. Number 10 is Community Care Connections. Number 11 is Human Services Center. Number 12 is Life Steps. Number 13 is Positive Steps Therapy. Number 14 is Pediatric Therapy Professionals. 15 is CenturyLink LLC. Number 16 is Western Pennsylvania School for the Deaf. And number 17 is the Medicaid waiver of the operating unit.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, up next, and we'll make this resolution 2021-190. These are our mid-year revenue adjustments. I went through all of our revenue accounts and made projections carrying through the end of the year as to exactly where we're going to be in reality versus what we budgeted for. Right now, I'm projecting that compared to what we budgeted for, our actual revenue is going to be down $374,202. That's largely due to a decrease in fee revenue from when the courthouse was closed, as well as a decrease in interest revenue due to the interest rates being where they're at right now. When I projected that, I was using a trend analysis, and obviously the interest rates have gone down relative to previous years. So we're taking some hits in a couple different places. Again, mostly as it relates to fees. So for example, the sheriff's office, I'm projecting that we're going to be $71,000 below revenue. Our interest general checking, I'm projecting we're going to be $48,000 below where I budgeted. Our IPP funds from the state, I'm projecting will be down about $60,000. The plus side is there are some areas, thankfully, where we received more revenue than was anticipated. The largest one was a larger reimbursement from the state for our elections equipment in the amount of $100,415 that we received in excess of what was budgeted for. And then there's some other minor adjustments along the way. Thankfully, the shock absorbers, which were built into the budget, were able to absorb this loss in revenue. And on top of that, our department heads have generally across the board been doing a good job in controlling their costs. And so you can see the bottom three are, when revenue decreases, you have to decrease your expense account to make sure everything stays balanced. And you can see that again, some of the shock absorbers and B, some of the savings are being used to offset those revenue losses. Questions, comments on where we're at from a revenue perspective? Up next, we'll make this 191. These are midway budget adjustments in each department. And the department's represented in the general fund. This does not include CYS, MHDS, domestic relations incentive, or 911. It also doesn't include any of our transportation funds or some of the other miscellaneous funds that comprise our budget. But you can see a number of minor changes in here. A lot of these changes, again, because our department heads, I think, are more in tune with different budgetary stresses being placed upon the county right now. They've worked very hard to minimize their expenses. So most of these, so for example, I'll use the human resources as an example. Human resources I'm projecting that they're going to be $100 under in materials and supplies to get through the end of the year and $250 under in telephone and internet. They've done a great job controlling their costs in postage and controlling their costs in background and drug tests. And so that end, we're able to basically move monies around in departmental funds to account for shortfalls in specific line items. Does that make sense? Yep. Mm-hmm. And so you can see with this spreadsheet, again, all of our different general fund departments. Land and building rental, our storage at the mines, I think has increased in recent years. And so again, to that end, it's increased at a rate exponentially higher than that, which is represented by the trend. I know a couple of our departments, the more storage intensive departments like the monetary, are working very, very hard at limiting their expenses down there. They're shredding a lot of documents that we're legally allowed to shred. And otherwise, ones that we're not digitizing those to allow us to have access to them at any point without having to go down to the mines. I'll say that the smallest transfer in this packet is $1. In case
Where's
anybody,
that at? Where's that at?
it's JPO.
Okay.
In case anyone had any questions as to how anal I am. And the largest transfer is $100,000 in the jail budget. But again, I want to stress that our department heads are doing a great job in controlling their costs across the board. Right now, I'm very confident that we will come out with a very nice surplus at the end of the year, assuming there are no shocks to the budget. If there are shocks to the budget, we can absorb, I'd say probably $250,000 as a conservative estimate in terms of the shock. So in other words, if the elevator fails, or if something happens that requires public safety, that requires that we spend a significant amount of money, we're protected against that. But largely the budget's holding up pretty well. Questions, comments on those? Up next, and we'll make this 191. This is a much smaller one. This is due to my transit project that I'm working on in partnership with Carnegie Mellon, Newcastle Area Transit Authority, and Southwest Pennsylvania Commission, and PennDOT. I went to District Attorney Lamacusa and President Judge Moato. The total local share of that cost is going to be $40,000. Both President Judge and District Attorney, due to the nature of the project, we're going to contribute funds out of their own budget to help pay for that project. And so to that end, these transfers just get the money where it needs to be for us to move it on to the Newcastle Area Transit Authority. Questions, comments on that?
Yes, are you sure this isn't 192?
192.
192?
We don't care where you took the money from. We're just worried about what numbers next.
Oh, yep, I see. What happened, I had 190 lying here for some reason in my pocket. 192.
That's our numbers.
Thank you.
Those numbers are too small for him to keep track of. They blew right by him.
Thank you, Dan, for catching that.
Yeah, I was on the same route. I was just checking through all of them. Wait a minute. I thought I'm confused. Thank you for that. Oh, goodness. Okay. All right, done.
And then 193, this is actually a little bit alarming. This is a mid-year transfer as it relates to the county's HRA accounts. I'll note that in the budget, as has been budgeted in previous years, we had $100,000 to offset HRAs paid out to employees. We've exceeded that by $49,688 mid-year. And so to that end, just based on the structure of the HRA, I would anticipate probably another $100,000 by the end of the year, being needed to cover that obligation. But this right now is just a mid-year transfer, it shows sort of where we're at in terms of the HRA. Questions, comments on that? Next, we have a couple, just the admin transfers. Or no, this is a resolution here. We have a resolution out of the Commissioner's office. This is to pay a telephone bill. We just have to move some money around to pay it. It's just moving from central services telephone to commissioner maintenance and repairs. It's a legacy bill that we have to get paid out. Not a very big deal. It's a couple $100. But it's we'll make it 194. And finally, the admin transfers. We have our liquid fuels, $5,000 from liquid fuels contingency to salary of engineer. There were increased salary of engineering costs this year due to extensive engineering work taking place at the Bank Covered Bridge. And so to that end, we've got more than enough money in our liquid fuels accounts to cover. We just need to move it around to allow for Frank B. Taylor Engineering to pay. Next, we have domestic relations. They're moving $250 from their contingency to their unemployment insurance. I think I've explained this to you guys 5 or 6 times at this point. It's just due to turnover. And lastly, domestic relations contingency to telephone internet. This is I projected under, and I think we sort of been through this a couple of times.
Right.
Telephone internet expenses were a little bit greater than I anticipated. So I'll take a motion, unless there are any questions, comments on it. I'll take a motion to amend the budget in accordance with administrative transfers A through C.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll take a motion to amend the agenda to allow for voting on resolutions 2021-173 through 2021-194.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution 2021-173, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that Arnold Blajak is to be paid $19,450 to complete work required under Phase 2 and $39,906.53 to complete work required under Phase 3. That Mr. Blajak is to complete all work identified by the Commissioners as outstanding by October 31, 2021. All other terms of the original bid agreement remain in effect. This resolution represents a change order to the existing bid agreement related to the time requirements only. Funds due and owing have already been budgeted pursuant to Resolution R 2018-116. And I'll note that these funds are being taken out of our capital accounts. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-174. Now that we resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that the county shall enter an agreement with LCSS as detailed in the attached agreement as a vendor of services to the county residents eligible under provisions of 2021-2022 Medical Assistance Transportation Program. Agreement shall commence July 1, 2021 and end on June 30th, 2022. Fee-for-service payments under this agreement shall be appropriated from a grant to the county from Pennsylvania DHS, Department of Human Services. County shall be responsible to pay LCSS for the provision of services only to the extent the county actually receives such funds from the Commonwealth. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
It's a very lovely resolution. So I'll second it.
Dan.
Kind of an inside joke.
Oh, God. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Unless there's any objection, I just want to take all these mental health ones together.
No objection.
So this will be, we'll take a motion to approve resolution 2021-175 and through 2021-189.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes. Thank you. Resolution 2021-190, now that can be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to amend the 2021 Lawrence County budget as follows. This relates to our actualizing the budget to real revenues received as opposed to budgeted revenues received. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-191, now that can be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to amend the 2021 Lawrence County budget as follows. This relates to right-sizing departmental funds. Again, largely these are just interdepartmental transfers to make sure that everything's where it needs to be to get our departments through the end of the year. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-192. Now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to amend the 2021 Lawrence County budget as follows. This relates to the transit project that I'm currently working on with the agencies aforementioned. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And thank you to Judge Motto, Josh Lamacusa, Mental Health and Developmental Services, and LCAP for their willingness to contribute to that project. Resolution 2021-193, now that be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to amend the 2021 Lawrence County budget as follows. This relates to the HRA actualizations. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And this shows you the extremes in which we operate. One of those resolutions was for $374,202. This is for $291.46. This is a resolution 194. Therefore, resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners, authorization is given to the appropriate administrative officials transfer a total of $291.46. Described in detail on attachment designated as T-2021-10. This again relates to just paying out a legacy phone bill. We have a motion.
So moved.
We have
Second?
a motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielman.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. There are no ordinances on the table for introduction or for final action. There will not be a commissioners meeting on August 3rd, 2021. We'll be in Hershey at the County Commissioners Conference. Looking forward to that. It's always an educational experience.
Yes,
And when you've got someone like Dan Vogler leading you around, you know, you're in for a good time.
absolutely.
Of course, I go to bed at 9 at night, so you're on your own after that.
Oh, no, you're coming to cigars with me. Next commissioners meeting, as a result of that, will be held Tuesday, August 10th, 2021 at 10 a.m. in this room. Any additional public comments at this time?
Oh, boy, it's just hard to believe, 2 weeks from now is August 10th.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing how fast
Yes.
it's going?
Very quickly. Very
Ah.
quickly.
Any additional business to be brought up by the board? Joe, you good on your end? Vanessa, you good on your end?
Thanks.
All right, in that case, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Lawrence County Board of Commissioners adjourned.
Nick, would you like to have my packet? Sure. You're welcome to it.
How are you doing today?
Good, how are you
Hi,
guys?
Amy.
Hey, Joe, I have an answer for you too.
What do you got? What do you got?
There you are, sir.
Thank you.
So,
Take care.
Thank you.
And we did get a new ATM machine.